when they're in the same household?
That's too hard to move the tape around.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Christine.
Hello,
Just checking, is everyone on?
everyone is on.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
I just see now who you are. What the heck? How are you? Like, oh, it's Chris. I'm good. I would have said hi to you if I had recognized you.
All right, everyone, at this time, I will call to order the meeting of Monday, November 16th, 2020. Councilmember Lenore, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
What?
Roll call, please.
Mayor Velazquez,
Here.
Councilmember Lenore,
Present?
Councilmember Resendez,
Present.
Vice Mayor Spencer,
Present.
City Manager Miller,
Present.
City Attorney Epperson,
Here.
Chief of Police, Interim Chief of Police Reynoso.
Here.
Thank you. The agenda for the City of Hollister City Council regular meeting of November 16th, 2020 was posted on the bulletin board on November 10th, 2020 at 11:40 a.m. per Government Code Section 54954.2.
Thank you very much. We're going to move to the consent agenda. Are there any items council would like to pull?
I have a question. On item number 4, it's related to the industrial wastewater permit dedicated to the one. Do I need to abstain? I typically, if there's a question, I haven't dealt with any cannery business. Is that appropriate? Okay. So I'll when we get going, I'll step out for item 4. I'll have to. Oh, it's consent agenda, so do I abstain from it? The whole agenda?
No, just item 4.
So,
Take 4.
okay. So I've stated that I'm abstaining on item number 4.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Are there any items council would like to pull? I would like to pull item A4.
And
So
I have
you-
to leave.
Is there any from the public?
I have none, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll
I-
move that we adopt the consent agenda as shown by staff, except for item A4, is that correct?
That's
Yes.
correct. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Lenore.
Go ahead, Mayor.
I just wanted, I thought this was a very important topic, and I know we've been dealing with it for quite a while, but just so the public knows what's going on there, so there's not questions in the future, or we have a better, the public has a better understanding. If you could just explain what's going on, appreciate it.
Sure. Item A4 requests authorization to do 2 things. Number 1, it requests authorization to terminate our industrial wastewater treatment discharge permit. And the other thing it does is it asks to appropriate approximately $91,000 to pay off the remainder of a fine that the water board levied on us several years ago due to an illicit discharge to the San Benito River. The reason why we're looking to pay off the fine at this point, because we entered into a settlement agreement with the water board where we paid half the fine, which was $91,000. And they were going to allow us to use $91,000 to do improvements to the industrial wastewater treatment plant to prevent the thing from ever happening again. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, however you want to look at it, the guidance from council has changed from the date when we entered into that agreement with the water board. And what has changed is the council has decided that the city will no longer be the treatment operator and the discharger of the San Benito Foods wastewater. We're currently talking to San Benito Foods about them continuing their operations and they being the discharger under their own permit. But as the tomato season has ceased, we're looking for authorization to go ahead and terminate our discharge permit, which terminates our liability for those activities. And because the original settlement agreement included millions of dollars of improvements to Pond 1, which we no longer require because we're no longer going to be the treatment operator or discharger, it is a huge savings of money if we go ahead and appropriate this $91,000 and pay off the remainder of the fine. So that's what this item does. Terminates the agreement and gives us the money so we can terminate the, pay off the fine and terminate the agreement we have with the water board.
Okay, just so we're clear with the public, that is to allow, if the cannery wanted to proceed in the future, they would be in charge of that permit directly with the state rather than through us in the future, so we can avoid any future issues.
Correct.
And they would have to make those improvements themselves.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from council? Is there any from the public?
I have no speaker cards and no hands raised, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a motion from the council?
I make a motion that we accept resolution number 2022-15 as stated.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We're going to move to item C, public
Give
input.
us just 1 second to get Carol back in. Thank you. She's back. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move to item C, public input. This is the time for anyone in the audience to speak on any item not on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. Speaker cards are available in the lobby and are to be completed and given to the city clerk before speaking. When the city clerk calls your name, please come to the podium, state your name and city for the record, and speak to the city council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes per subject. Please note, state law prohibits the city council from discussing or taking action on any item not on the agenda. Do we have any speaker cards today?
I have no speaker cards, Mr. Mayor, and I have no hands raised.
Thank you very much. We'll move forward now with item D1, city manager's report.
Nothing to report at this time.
Item D2, sir.
No training at this time.
Thank you. We're going to move to item E1, public hearing.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. The item before you tonight originally scheduled was for an appeal for Agropharma Ltd. However, earlier today, the appellant requested that the item be continued. He didn't request a continuance to a specific date. So I am not sure if he is present to suggest a date or it's up to the council to set the appeal date.
Thank you. Go ahead, city attorney.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, that was me. I don't have any comment.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions from council?
Well, I do have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
I guess I would just ask the city attorney, I'm sorry, what would we do in this circumstance, or what would you suggest we do?
Well, it's up to the city council whether or not it wants to proceed with the appeal. I can tell you that the appellant was concerned that he didn't have proper notice. I don't know that I agree with him. I think that city staff did everything correctly. However, in light of that, he is asking for a continuance to another date. As Ms. Mendez indicated, he did not say what date. I suppose that there's very little harm if the city council would like to continue it to another date and select what that date is now.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions or comments from council?
No.
Okay, this time we'll open it to public hearing. Do we have any speakers?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Azimon?
Yes, good evening, council members. This is John Asimov. As Ms. Mendez and the city attorney suggested, they're right. I didn't specify the date. The next available date would be just I mean, I think the next best date would be is fine with Agri-Pharma.
I believe that would be December 7th.
If I may request, maybe I'm expecting a baby at the beginning of December. So and I am going to be I need to support my wife in this process. So if we can do it in the middle of December, I will try to. And they live right now in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I will be flying over here to make sure that I'll make this meeting. It's very important. So I hope we can do it in the middle of December, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do we have any other speakers?
I have no more speakers, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, at this time, I will close public hearing. Questions or comments from council? I believe if we put it to the second meeting, it would be December 21st. But that would be up to the council.
That is
Have any
correct.
questions or comments? Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
sir.
Yeah, so I would be a little apprehensive to put it there because I think we're going to have a new council by then, and the old council is the one that heard the matter. So I'd like for us to hold it on the first meeting of the month, just so that we can have the council that has heard it go and hear it again. That would be my only suggestion. And if there's a problem with having a child, like I understand that and I completely empathize with that, but I think that we're perfectly capable of doing everything via Zoom. So I would suggest the first week, which would be the 7th.
All right, thank you. Is there any other comments?
Yeah, yes. I think the gentleman has made a pretty good reason why he's not available, so I'd be inclined to go with the 21st.
Okay, any other? Go ahead.
I said, so would I. I feel that in his circumstances with his wife having a baby and him not being in California, I think the 21st would probably be the best time to hear from them, to have the meeting.
Okay,
Have it on our meeting at that time.
thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll move that we
Right.
continue this item to the date certain of December 21st.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? Motion carries. We will move to item F1.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Item F1 is a supplemental appropriation of $40,000 from the sewer fund, which has a balance of $6 million, for the repairs to our backup drum screen. What the drum screen does is remove solids from the waste stream, bits of plastic, paper, paper towels, things like that. Our facility is designed to have two, one in operation, one in as a backup. With our new operator, he discovered that the previous operator took the backup one offline several years ago and never notified us that it needed repairs. So the parts are coming in at about 20,000 and the labor's coming in at about 13,000, and there's an extra 7,000 just because it's sat there for 5 years, and I'm sure they're gonna find more when they get in it. So that's what this item does.
Thank you. Any questions from council?
No.
Do we have any speaker cards?
I have no speaker cards and no hands raised, Mr. Mayor.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we accept resolution number 2020-216 as stated.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We're gonna move now to item F2.
Item F2 is one that's very important to me. I was contacted by a citizen, a younger citizen, so I'm not going to give you the full name, but his first name is Jack. Jack has some challenges in life, and because of those challenges, he needs to use a mobility assistant device, which prevents him from being able to use the playground at his local park. That's wrong. All our children should be able to use our playgrounds. His particular playground that's at his local park is Clower Park. That playground was built in 1999. While it is technically accessible according to 1999 rules, it does not meet the current design standards for an accessible playground. So what we're seeking is $186,000 from the Park Development Fund, which has a balance of $3.9 million, so that we can go ahead and make that park more accessible. Jack participated in the process of deciding what features we would bring into the park, and he identified a particular feature that he thought was fantastic. I tend to agree with him. So the plan would be to go ahead and install that feature, and then some surprises that he doesn't know about. This money will also pay for an accessibility ramp so that Jack will be able to access part of the towers out there, which he didn't ask for, but I think we should go the extra mile and do things right. Gives him access to a slide. Additionally, it'll fund a piece of musical equipment. This particular device is kind of like a xylophone. This company is run by musicians, not museums. It is tuned, so it's not just a piece of metal in there. It's actually designed like a xylophone. And it actually includes a music book with color coordination. So the children will actually be able to play 8 different songs. And then the most important thing this does for our residents is it removes all the loose fill rubber out of the playground, and it allows us to go ahead and put in the tiles, which remove any obstacles to getting around in there. So I fast-tracked this when I received the request, and I'm requesting your folks' support on this item.
Thank you. Any questions from council?
We do have a question.
Go for it. Go ahead, sir.
2 quick questions. Number 1, I inquired about getting a city ordinance that requires us to always have disabled inclusive playground equipment at each park. Mr. Chambliss, and I was informed by the city manager that that's already like I think a state ordinance.
It's a federal law.
Are we doing that?
We are. It's a federal law, and we are.
Okay. So yeah, I just want to ensure that we are doing that, and then if we can include different types of equipment, like I love how you're doing different types of equipment on this one, but at each park for different types of our disabled friends community. And then my second question was, how long is this going to take? I really do appreciate that you fast-tracked it, and I think that we're on a roll here with starting projects and ensuring that they get done in a timely manner. What is the time commitment that you can for sure say that this is going to take for us to get done?
I'm projecting it'll take staff approximately 2 months to complete the work, but I don't know what the delivery time is gonna be on the equipment. Equipment like this isn't manufactured until it's ordered. And all of the manufacturing is really affected by COVID, because we're drawing from different places in the United States. My expectation is that that Jack will be out there cutting a ribbon in April.
All right, looking forward to that, and I hope that we can get this done in a timely manner. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions from council?
Not a question, but definitely agree 100% with you that every kid should have access to the park. And I want to thank you for doing this and fast tracking it very much. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. I do have a question for you, Mike. When we were working on Park Hill and we added the feature for the handicap, we talked about installing some features at all the parks. I thought you had put a plan together to do something. Do you still have that plan, or where are we at with that?
That's the one I gave you.
So the next park that needs to be done is Dunn Park. That playground is about 26 years old. I was just looking at it this afternoon. I apologize. I think it was, 26 years old. It is not accessible at all except for the bridges. And that is the next one that needs to get done. There are a variety of different apparatus and attractions, but without the funding yet, we didn't go ahead and select the items that would be in the park, because, you know, we could select $500,000 items, or we could select $50,000. So I would encourage that the council work with, in the future, to make that the priority and set the cost, because we work with very experienced professional consultants that can go ahead and design the playground to that cost number. Dunn Park is going to be an extremely expensive playground because it's three-dimensional. Because of the hills out there, you're gonna have custom-made equipment to go ahead and incorporate the different altitudes, for lack of a better word. So I would encourage the council to go ahead and move forward on Dunn Park. That playground needs some help. The remainder of your playgrounds are in pretty good shape. I think that you should make a priority to go ahead and change over the safety servicing. That's probably your biggest barrier at this point. We went in and put in ramps in all the playgrounds. All the playgrounds have some sort of apparatus that are accessible to be used. The problem is the rubber material. While legally it meets the definition of accessible, I'm learning more from my friend Jack that it just doesn't work for certain devices. So from time to time, the state issues a grant. The last time it came open, I was told that we didn't have the matching funds to go for it. So I would encourage you to make that a priority, to set aside those matching funds and get that grant from the state, which is relatively easy to get, and get those tiles into those playgrounds. That would be a good investment.
Okay, any other questions, comments from council? Do we have any speaker cards?
I have no speaker cards, Mr. Mayor, and I have no hands raised.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we accept resolution 2020-217 as stated.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We'll move to item F3.
Thank you for that one. Item F3 is an appropriation of $8,000 from the Park Development Fund of $3.9 million. What this will allow us to do is go ahead and purchase the nets and the surfacing required to go ahead and change the center tennis court at Dunn Park. from 1 tennis court to 3 pickleball courts. Recently, I was contacted by a coalition of 35 pickleball players requesting us to do something along these lines. I had my staff look at it, and we determined that three courts would be the appropriate number to replace 1 court out there. We chose the center court because there's 2 hitting walls for tennis at the 2 end courts, and moving and relocating them would be a challenge. And then the other reason why staff has long recognized that we do need pickleball courts in the city. In fact, you also have recognized that. The last 2 times we attempted to receive the state parks grant for park development funds at the park next to the fire station and the leatherback lot, both those designs did incorporate pickleball courts, so we can begin to serve the demand that already exists.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
Okay. No problem. Any questions from council? All right, Mike, so I have a few questions for you. We talked about pickleball courts a year, 2 years ago, if you remember. We saw the increase of people playing the sport, which is great. I thought we had talked about it at the time. We talked about a couple different locations. I think we came back to Dunn Park and talked about one of the courts there, as you're mentioning now. My question to you is, have you worked or spoken to some of the tennis clubs that are using the facilities now? I know they're pretty active also.
I have not. That has not been my experience in driving by the park. Primarily, I witness pickleball out there. I see a few tennis players now and then, but I've never really seen a group to stop and talk to them.
I do hear from the tennis groups quite a bit, actually. And I remember them being pretty happy when some improvements were done out there. The question I have for you, I saw your design of center court, but my question would be, if we did that, you're split into 2 tennis courts. So for an example, if the tennis groups were put on a tournament or something, they would not be right next to each other. They'd have to cross over the pickleball area. Would it not be maybe wiser to have the pickleball maybe on the west side, the 3rd court, so that people can enter from the other entry point on that side? And that way the 2 tennis courts can be closer together. So if people are having some tournaments or some games they're playing amongst their groups, they won't be interrupting the other courts.
We can certainly do that, but that will eliminate one of the hitting walls.
Well, can't we move that hitting wall?
It is technically possible to move the hitting wall, but it's set in asphalt and concrete, and it's large, so
Okay.
it would be a
Well,
project.
Maybe we could leave it there and then see what the need is, and if there is a bigger need for another wall, we can add one later.
Sure.
I'm concerned again about, if the groups are playing tennis, having several groups playing, because I've been out there a few times playing with them myself, and I know when they do go out, they're usually 2 to 3 courts playing, so I would rather see them closer together, and that way they're not interrupting the other side, and the other side's not interrupting them. And it does have a different entrance on that side too, correct?
Yes, the entrance are at all 4 corners.
Right, so I think that would be more helpful. Can we look at that as an option?
Sure.
Does council have any questions on that at all?
Same thing, Mr. Mayor. I'm just wondering, like, how often are they used and by whom? Are we keeping up with the times? Just out of curiosity, I'm not there, and I wonder if we had any kind of studies or data or anything to tell us so that we can be flexible and we can adapt to what the park's needs are.
Okay,
I have a comment.
go ahead.
They're very, I drive that way a lot. They're used a lot. And then there was 35 people that signed this request. So just pointing that out.
Oh, yeah, pickleball is very popular right now, absolutely. And the tennis groups are using the facility quite a bit.
You
They
know,
invite
the
their
San
consul-
Juan did away with all their tennis courts, which I was surprised. But I guess it's big over there, the pickleball. And they did away with the tennis and made them all pickleball.
Right.
I know tennis is good, and they also have the high school, I think.
No, we don't have that contract any longer.
Oh, we don't have that anymore? Okay.
Right.
Well, I think we gotta mix it up and share, so that, I
Okay.
like it.
Maybe it's time to have the conversation about the tennis courts again with the high school. But thank you, Mike. Any other questions or comments? Do we have any speaker cards?
Can I say something really quick?
Go ahead.
Personnel?
Go ahead.
With the tennis courts at the high school, I did look into it, and the accessibility is very limited for the community. They can only get to the tennis courts on a Saturday, and if they can find someone to unlock the gates for them. Sunday, there's nobody there, and if there's a tennis tournament at the high school, the community is not allowed to use the tennis courts. That's the only thing that I had against the contract we had with the high school was the fact that we paid so much money a year, and yet the accessibility to the tennis courts, I think the first year that I came on the council, they were used 5 times by the community throughout the year.
Correct.
So we do need tennis courts, but I do not think that the high school is the answer. I think we keep the tennis courts at Dunn, but we add these pickleball courts. If we could, I think there's 3 tennis courts at Dunn. Mr. Chambliss, is there any way we could put 3 pickleball courts somewhere at Dunn Park?
That's what the design is. Three courts. Originally, the design was on the center court, but that's why I asked if you could move it to the west court.
Yeah, is there room to put 3 on the west side though?
Yeah, they're all the
It's
same width.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we would do
I
that.
can look into it.
Okay. Going back again, was there any speaker cards from the public?
I have no speakers, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion that we adopt resolution 2020-218 with the amendment that we move the pickleball court to the west existing tennis court.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're now going to move to item F4.
Item F4 approves a 1-year lease with California Skydive Center for a building they've used for probably about 6 years out at the airport. This will result in a revenue of $14,000 to fund 601 over the term of the lease.
All right, is there any questions? Do we have any speaker cards?
I have no speaker cards, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we accept resolution 2020-219 as stated.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're going to move to item F5.
Item F5 seeks the City Council to approve a sole source acquisition agreement from Signs by Van for the design, fabrication, and installation of 2 monument signs for the entrance of the Hollister Municipal Airport. This project started probably 8 months ago. Got slowed down a little bit by COVID, well, actually, it's probably more than 8 months ago. It was probably about 14 months ago. But anyway, we worked with the Airport Commission, and we selected a design that was pleasing. Basically, it's a wing standing on end, and surrounding the base are taxiway lights represented. We worked with Signs by Van because the council previously selected them for a sole source agreement. They designed the entrance monument for the 4th Street roundabout beautification project. That's the words I'm looking for. While the roundabout still has yet to materialize, I actually have seen the monument because we're storing it, and it's excellent quality work. So I worked with Signs by Van to come up with the design. We ran it through the Planning Commission, got unanimous approval. The council previously budgeted the funds for the sign through the normal budgeting process. So we're seeking approval for the final step to go ahead and get them fabricated and installed.
Thank you. Any questions from council?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So Mike, there's two of them. So when you pull in, where are they?
They're going to be on both sides of the entrance. Because of the way our geometry is, you needed one facing each direction that the cars were driving.
Okay.
So they're mirroring each other on either side as you pull into the driveway of the airport.
And the planning commission, they were able to see that, so they saw the site plan?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Is there any speaker cards on this item?
I have no speakers, Mr. Mayor.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we accept resolution 2022-20 as stated.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. We're going to move now to item G1, reports from city council members regarding their committees.
I have no oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I have no
Councilmember Lenore.
reports.
I'm sorry, did you say no reports?
I have no reports, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Spencer?
I just have some information from Monterey Bay Air Resource District, starting this month, November through February 2021. Monterey Bay, or MBARD, will begin announcing wintertime spare the air alerts for Monterey, San Benito, and Santa Cruz counties. The Air District will send out notification by 3 p.m. on days that conditions warrant it. If anybody has any questions, please call their office at 831-647-9411. To sign up for alerts via email, please visit their website at www.mbard.org. And that's all I have from my committee.
Thank you. Councilmember Resendez?
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
I don't have anything to report either, so we're going to move to item G2, informational reports. Councilmember Lenore?
Okay, well, we were all down there at downtown on the ribbon cutting. I wanted to tell you that it really lifted me up. It was uplifting, although I'm very, very concerned with today's news. It really put a dampener on it, but as far as the downtown parklet program, it's beautiful. It's awesome. And the entrance on 4th Street was unexpected, so everybody was oohing and ahhing over that. I could tell that was Mike Chambliss's work, just without not even having to ask. I knew that was Mike. But doggone it, I've never been more proud of the city workers, and I'm pretty proud of them, than for them to pull all that off, because it's a lot of folks. There's a lot of support staff worked on that, as well as maintenance workers, and I never seen anything go that quick, so I know we can do it sometimes. It was really nice to see something move fast like that, but it did put a lot of work on staff, so again, very much appreciate it. And then I went back Sunday, and as you know, I water all the plants. I look forward to taking care of the city's parklet, if they'll let me. Take care of those flowers and water them. I'd be happy to do that. As I step off the council, I'll still be downtown, and hopefully a lot, and being a customer and helping out downtown like I always have. So again, parklet, very awesome. I got to tell you that, and it's where I wanted to go a long time ago with the downtown corridor study and the HDA strategy plan, and I was always harping on it. I don't know if any of you know that. Staff does. It was nice to see it done. I never in my wildest dreams would I thought that was going to get done so quickly. I guess if there's a good note on the pandemic, it certainly was that. And thank you again. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Spencer?
I would also like to just say what an amazing job that the staff and city work, everybody did on the downtown, in keeping with the theme of improving things. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but Brett, those tumbleweeds are getting awfully big out there on Prospect. So kind of have an idea, and I think it kind of will be rather cool. Why don't we take those tumbleweeds and we can tie them to a stick, spray paint them white, and make them snowmen? And we can do various sizes, because they're not being they're not going to get cut down unless the city does it. And then I say we just bill the railroad company. But I think that would be an alternative to some of those tumbleweeds. There's one I saw on Saturday that it's got to be at least 7 feet wide and at least 6 feet tall.
Yeah, you gotta take care of those.
Yeah, the fire chief is looking at me and shaking his head
Well,
on painting them.
You know, the city cleans that. It's never been the railroad. Ray Rojas used to clean that all the time, and I think Mike does it too now.
We need to get that cleaned up. I'd like to try to do something. I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool to make snowmen out of them. They're various sizes, and you can put those
You could put them
green
downtown. They would look
boots
cute.
down the middle, tie them down there, and paint them white and make them snowmen. I mean, this is the perfect time of year. It's the holidays. So I would just like to, do something with those. I'd also like a little bit of an update on the reverse parking. When I was downtown Saturday, that was the only thing that I heard people were not very happy with, was the reverse parking. I know, it's, for some reason, I still don't understand it. But one of the things that has been brought up is now that people will be backing in, now you have exhaust fumes going into the park. That's where people are sitting there trying to eat. So let's just kind of keep an eye on that and see what happens. And then another thing, do we have an ordinance about the street sweepers? When it's time for the streets to be swept on certain days, do people have to move their car, or is it just a courtesy to move the cars?
It is a courtesy for them to move the cars. We do not have an ordinance for that.
Because I know I've had a few people approach me, and there's especially on one street, Somme, on the corner of Somme and Versailles, I guess there's like 7, 8 cars that are parked there. They never move. And the street sweeper goes by. I guess today the street, whoever was doing the machine actually took pictures and said he was going to show it to his supervisor, because they can't get to the leaves, which are blocked. It's going to block the drains, which then is going to cause flooding on that street. And I know that this is happening on a lot of the streets throughout Hollister. Just not in my district. It's happening in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So is there something we can do to get this out? Because we're going to have the rains coming, and the last thing we want is flooded streets.
Yeah, we do have an ordinance for how long people can park, but it has been a concern in the past that on the days that a street is being swept, that the cars are still there. So we can definitely bring an ordinance forward to see what direction council wants to go with it.
If that's possible, Brett, I would like something like that. Let's look into it. Because this one particular street, these 7 or 8 cars have not moved in 3 weeks. And so, I mean, I know this happens. I had a car parked in front of my house for 6 weeks before the person even moved it. And he didn't even live in my neighborhood. So if we could check into that, and that's about it for this meeting.
Thank you. Councilmember Resendez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Much just like Councilwoman Lenore said, we were all there on Saturday. We went downtown, and I don't even know how to summarize what happened. I guess I'm really proud and I'm really thankful. I was thinking about what has transpired in the last few months, and when it comes down to it, we really have pulled it together. We really have been the very first ones to set the standard high and to be very proactive. When it came to coronavirus, our council came together. We enacted an emergency ordinance. We did everything we were supposed to do, and then everybody else followed suit. And I'm just really proud and I'm really grateful to be on the council during these times. I'm really proud and grateful for the dedication from the staff. You know, I see Brett down there multiple times a day. He's out there. Daisy's out there. Cheryl's out there. The public works staff that's out there in the rain, putting up signs, the small touches that Mr. Chambliss' son put on the sign, the 3D printing to put it on there, like all of these things, how they transpired, how we all come together, and everybody else that helped make this happen. I'm very grateful, I'm very glad, and you guys just really outdid yourselves. And the problem now is that we know that you guys, everybody, we kept hearing government work slow, government works so slow. They were surprised. Now we're going to hold you to that expectation because you guys really outdid yourself. And I'm just really proud to be having a part of that and to watch that go down. So kudos to you guys, everybody that was involved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like Brett Miller said, that's all I've got to say. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Absolutely. We can't say thank you enough to everyone involved to see this project finally get done. As we've said in the past, it's been almost 20 years of talking about this, but once we moved on it, it was just amazing to see staff and everyone else work together in a way that really I don't think any of us have seen before, and in such a positive, beautiful way that, you know, it's something when communities are calling, asking how we're doing these things, and when they want to know what they can do in their communities, that we're leading in our really the residents. I as I said during the event, really at the end of the day, we got to thank the residents. They're the ones that helped us through this and supported it. I know there's a few that are still having an issue with the reverse parking, but it's just part of learning some new habits, and we'll get through that. But really shows what we can do, as Councilmember Sanders said, when we come together and just get focused on a task and get the task done. So looking forward to all the improvements we're going to have in downtown. I know many are going to be coming, and I'm looking forward to all the new businesses coming. I do want to ask City Manager, the crossing guards at on North Street, do we have an update yet from the rail company when they're going to do it? It's been quite a while now.
Yeah, no, I don't have an update, but I will work on that for the council.
Okay, that's a very important part so we can get that traffic flowing a little smoother throughout our community. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor, for bringing that up, because that was one of the things I wanted to ask, so I appreciate that.
No problem. City Manager?
Yeah, so I'll start off with some negative news. Hopefully everybody has heard that we have moved back to the purple tier, which now moves the restaurants back out to outside dining. So we did get our parklets done and in very timely fashion so that we could open the road and still have allow restaurants a place to serve their patrons. But I would like to echo, just like everybody else has said, but to see our staff out on a Friday night till 10 o'clock at night, out in the rain, making sure everything got done so that we could still do our ribbon cutting on Saturday was amazing. And I also like to thank a member of the public, which was Mike Chambliss' son, because for our sign in the front, we did not have any letters available in the area, so he was nice enough to use his 3D printer and print up letters for our sign so that we had the look that we wanted to look at. I can't remember which one, sorry. So with that, they were hot glued on so that it would look nice for our big day. That hot glue is now wearing off, so the signs have been taken down, so I don't want anybody to think they've been stolen or removed. So the letters are coming in. We'll fix those up, and then that sign will be back up. So I just want to thank the council again for all your belief behind us, and once again to the staff for all their hard work. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no statement this evening.
Thank you. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just information for the council. In regards to the opening of the downtown, I'll be bringing to the council the closest next meeting, a modification for our local municipal code in regards to reverse angle parking. So there's a need to modify the existing ordinance so that we did have a couple people. I know there's a learning curve, but I did drive by on Sunday, noticed some cars were parked the wrong way. Obviously, we're going to do an education first, but there is a need to change the municipal code because currently, right now, everyone parking in the angle parking would technically be in violation because of the way the ordinance is written. But it is a simple change, and I'll be bringing it as soon as possible back to the council.
Thank you. City Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I needed to speak to actually all of council in regards to the purple tier. Our December 14th meeting, I'm not sure how we want to do that, or if we want to continue with that at the Vets Memorial Building. Right now, with just staff, not department heads, just staff, not counting public, plus what each council member will be bringing in their group, I'm looking at 30 right now. I think Vets Memorial Building's big enough for us to handle it. We've tried to reach out to the county to see what their guidance is, and they're just saying to, practice social distancing safely. So perhaps if we were to provide masks, hand sanitizers, maybe even a thermometer to check people's temperatures, maybe group people by families so that we're not all together, try to keep everyone 6 feet apart, or our other option would be to scratch the 14th and combine everything on the 21st. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because I would have to give the agenda packet to 2 more people than I normally would, but I think it's doable as well. So I just wanted to ask for your direction on what you wanted to do.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, another idea that staff was kind of throwing around too is that we could have it at, like, say, McCarthy Park, so that we are outdoors. The only concern would be rain.
I think that is a good idea to go ahead and do it outside. I think being indoors right now, as everything else is being shut down
Yeah, but we're not
indoors,
supposed to be grouped with people.
it would probably be best
6
to
feet away.
see if we can do it outdoor. I like that idea. As a matter of fact, McCarthy Park, and we do have that little stage there. We can make something like that work. Of course, you're right. It all comes down to the rain, but what the heck? It's 2020. We're used to all this craziness.
So clarify for me now again, what's gonna happen? Nothing on the 14th?
Well, we would still have it on the 14th. We would just not have it at the Vets Memorial
Okay.
Building indoors. We're talking maybe doing it outdoors at McCarthy Park. Or our other thing would be to combine it with the 21st, which would make the 21st, I don't know what the agenda looks like now.
Well, how would you
But
give
it's
out a
possible.
couple of extra agendas? I mean, one of us, we're stepping off. So,
You don't want to see it? I would still send it to you.
am I gonna vote on anything?
No.
Then I don't need to see it. Well, I'll
It
see
wouldn't
it.
matter. It's not a big deal to send it out to a couple of extra
That's
people.
fine.
Yeah.
I won't be a council person at that meeting though, correct?
You will be for
You will be for the
a few
beginning.
minutes.
On the
Yes.
21st?
If you have it on the 21st. Now, the problem with the 21st, if as they get sworn out, and we're gonna have people that wanna take pictures and things like that, so you're gonna have numerous people that wanna still see the swearing in.
I don't care, do what you guys need to do, it's
So
no
you'd like to
problem.
keep it on the 14th is what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
You just
I-
want
I-
to do it
tell me.
outdoors?
I could say a few things here.
Okay.
If we did it on the 21st, we're gonna have the same problem, too many people in the building at one time. So I like the idea of being outdoors. We can take care of this on the 14th. I like the idea of doing it at our park. Again, this is a strange time, so it calls for creativity, but it is a way to handle the situation.
I'm not sure how to post an agenda at a park, but I will do my best. I don't think there's a posting board there, and I, by legalities, have to post at the location at which we're holding the meeting.
Yeah, we can put a sign out there, there's a place to post it. Now, the big question is, do we want to do it during the day so that it's
Warm?
It's warm,
And
and,
Right?
and that we have some, at least some light outside.
How about 4 o'clock? Would that work?
It starts
I
getting,
would-
I would almost
It gets
suggest
dark
like
at
3
5.
o'clock.
That's
3
fine.
o'clock? How's the
Can I-
public attend though?
Okay,
Working.
Vice Mayor Spencer, you have a comment?
Well, I think because it is gonna be December 14th and, you know, the days are not that long. I say we do it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, you're talking 4 o'clock, it's starting to get cold. And the one thing we don't need is a bunch of people being outside and catching the flu or a cold during this time. So I would say the earlier the better. When it's warmer, we
Yeah,
can.
no, I'm in favor of that. The only problem is I wouldn't be able to attend. I don't get off work till 4 o'clock. So I hate to rain on your guys' parade, but if I could chime in, I am in favor of splitting it. I don't think we should do them all on the 21st because then you're going to have more people, Christine. I am in favor of doing it outside at the McCarthy Park. And I do know that when we went through all these trainings, you can just post it anywhere you're having the meeting. So it could be done at a park. And then I would really love to be there. So I prefer to have it at 4 o'clock if that's okay. I don't think it's going to be a very long ceremony. And I think it gets darker and colder about 5:30-ish.
So would we-
By then.
Would we then not have cake, not have chairs? It would be standing only? How would we do this? I'm not,
We
Do it at
we
the
would
Vets
be
building.
standing, for the public would be standing. Of course, you're gonna wanna have a couple of chairs in case there's elderly there. But I think in general it'd be standing, and we could probably still have some cake and pass that around put that on a picnic table or something.
Do you
Have
want me
that
to
passed
stand
around.
up for an hour?
You can keep it pretty simple, make it work.
I can do that.
I just like the
Or is
idea
that
of
the
outside because
2
people
hours?
they've got plenty of room to social distance and you know, that's always a plus.
also keep in mind that at a park, we would not be able to Zoom. I was thinking even if we did it at the Vets Memorial Building, I might be able to set up a laptop. So we're not gonna have that teleconferencing ability. We also won't, we won't be able
It
to
has
do
to
it,
be- it has to be
have a
Zoom.
recording of it in any way, shape, or form, so.
Well, we could set up a camera to record the event,
I'm for the Vets building.
so we can make this thing work. I know it does pose some challenges, but overall, we can make it work, and I think we all recognize by mid-December, the numbers are gonna be much higher than we're seeing now with COVID, so we're gonna wanna be outside and want the distance, the spacing we're gonna need.
Yeah, the only other suggestion would be out in the Vets Park, I mean, sorry, not Vets Park, the Vets Plaza courtyard.
Outside.
That is another option.
That's a good
That's a
option.
good option. And then I would just always, Christine, say that you should check with public health right before the event because depending on what the numbers are, they might have new guidelines. You know how this thing's changing every day. So I would always default on checking with public health department.
We did check with public health.
Perfect.
All right,
So guidance would be, Vets
outdoors, 4 o'clock on the 14th,
would be.
whether that be Vets,
I
the
like the
plaza
Vets.
there, or at the park,
The Vets
whichever we
Plaza.
can do.
Mhm. Do you guys like the Vets Plaza?
It
I
might be
do
warmer.
actually. I
and
like
more
it better
protected.
than
And it
park.
brings us downtown, so it's a win-win. Yeah,
Perfectly fine.
okay.
Yeah, because if our numbers finally go back to where they were, we might be able to be inside by the 14th. If I'm counting everything right. Yeah, then we can go.
That sounds good.
Okay, I'll talk to Ellen and see if the outside's available.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you very
Good
much.
suggestion.
We are
Forgot
now
about
gonna
the
move to
plaza.
G3. This is an appointment for a council member for the Economic Development.
Yes, so according to the MOU, there is supposed to be a council-appointed representative for the ad hoc meetings. However, due to the pandemic, we have not had any ad hoc meetings meet except for the few exceptions that we do have. So they are holding their annual I don't know, it's not a retreat, it's their, give me just one second.
Yeah, it's our annual retreat.
It's their annual retreat, and it's December 3rd at, oh, December 2nd, I'm sorry. 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock via Zoom. So they're requesting to have a council representative attend that Zoom meeting. And in addition to that, they're inviting a staff member. Typically, Cheryl Mullen and Brian Swanson have been the two city staff members that have attended those EDC meetings. So they're wondering if one of those two might want to attend in addition to the staff, to the council member, I mean.
Okay. Is there any questions from council?
No.
Do we have any speaker cards?
I have no speaker cards, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry?
No, I have no speaker cards, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I'll go ahead and appoint myself on this one to be the representative.
Okay.
Is that all right with the council?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. All right. HIJK, there is no business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good, everyone.
Carries. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.